Okay, next project time. So we are going to be making Day of the Dead skulls. And I'm appropriately dressed, see? And so I'm going to be showing you how to make that. Before I start in on the actual making of it, I'm going to show you one that I picked up that was made in Mexico before I had student samples. So this is a pretty big one, and what they do in Mexico is they pour these, like you saw at the beginning of the year, they pour them into molds, and that way they're able to make them quickly. And instead of glazing, they actually paint them. And I'm going to allow you guys this year to paint them at home, and hopefully your pieces will come in, fire, and I'll get them back into your hands and you won't have to wait for the glazing process. So you can maybe use them by November 2nd. Anyways, let's get started. So I have out my wire cutter here, and I just want to show you how to hold it. You're going to hold all hands and come to the end, okay? And then you're going to wrap your finger, usually twice on each side. And we just need a little bit of clay out of my bag. So we're going to use the wire cutter for another thing, so I thought maybe I'd teach you how to hold it. And then unwind, and we'll get the extra clay off right here, put it back, and we're going to make this into a ball. Not sure if you remember how to pack a ball, but you're going to kind of pat it and smack it until it forms that ball. And we want something that kind of fits within the fingers of your hands. That's about the size. I could go a little bit bigger, but not too tiny, because we don't want these Day of the Dead skulls super tiny. We want them by the end, after all the firing and shrinking, to fit within your hands. So we need to start pretty big. We're going to be taking this big ball of clay and dividing it in half. The best way to do that is to take your wire cutter. If we were at school, we would be able to go over to the big wire cutter, but we're not. So hold the wire tight like I just showed you, and then cut it as in half possible as you can. Mine just sort of fell open. I don't know if you saw that, but I now have two nice halves. What's important about these is that they're equal as you can get them. And now it's time to make two pinch pot bowls that are the same size so that they meet up. So I'm going to start in on one. Remember, just like when it was a whole ball and we made our pinch pots, now you can stick your thumb in the middle, go down and work the bottom first, pinch and rotate, work at the top. You guys did great on your pinch pot bowls that you made earlier this past week. And now it's time to get more complicated. And I am just pinching and rotating, pinching, rotate, pinch and rotate. And we're looking for that 1/4 of an inch. So I'm going to work on this so I don't bore you. I'm going to let you go for a couple secs, and then I will have these all finished. Just a reminder as hints. Pinch at the top, okay, away from you. Pinch and rotate, working the bottom part first, and then moving up towards the middle, and eventually towards the top. And you're working towards getting it a 1/4 of an inch all the way through the pot. I saw some really good work this past week on your pinch pots. Now, because we cut a ball in half and we were as equal as we possibly could get it, these two pinch pots should meet up pretty nicely, and then we can slip and score them together. I've got a little bit more work to go, but I'm going to check it and see if we have a closeness. I worked this one a little bit more, so it may be a little bit bigger, and we're getting close. Okay, so make sure that they equal in size when you cut them, And it doesn't have to be perfect, but pretty close. And then when you pinch them out, that they meet at the middle seam area pretty much all the way around. Also remember that when you're pinching at the top and you're leaning inward a little bit, okay? If you pinch back here, it will fly open and you're kind of ending up with two shallow bowls instead of two deep bowls. Time to slip and score these together. They are pretty soft, but I really want to make sure they stay together. So I got some slip here, slip in my container, and I am going to use my fork, put a little slip all around the edge, put this one down and put some slip around this edge. In scoring it, we're making it like that Velcro. We're kind of cutting up the edges, and then we're going to be able to push those two edges into each other from each of the lips of the bowls. Got a little bit of extra in there that I don't need. And then I'm going to take these two bowls and I am going to begin to press them together. I don't know if you can see this very well. Sort of look like a clam right now. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to press these two together, and then I'm going to go over the seam, sort of like sewing. I go over and across, and blend the clay, over and across, over and across. I'm going to do that all the way around the pot. What it's going to do is it's going to trap the air in the middle. This is a great way to make a piggy bank, a great way to make a softball, or I made one of these for my teapots. I was trying to show the advanced kids how to make a teapot body in, so I did this method of pinching into a teapot. So it's a great way for making hollow things, and this is just a ramped up, more complicated version than we made last week with the only one bowl. Now we're making two that are sticking together. Because it is a nice hollow ball and it has no holes now you can sort of shove it around. It's sort of like a balloon. You know how you can shove a balloon around? It's sort of like that. And I'm going to begin to shape my skull. I have the 3D model sitting here in front of me. I don't know if you guys want to go over to the 99-cent store. A lot of times they have, this is Halloween year time, so they have skulls there that are plastic. I bought a bunch for school and they're at school, but not enough to give 180 kids. So I'm giving you guys 2D models in your folder to work with, and you can probably do it from that. But it's helpful sometimes to have the 3D model. So if you can pick one up for $1, that's pretty good. Anyways, what I want to do is I have this piece here, and I want to start modeling it. And you can see how there's kind of dips on the side, and it's skinnier right in here. So I'm going to begin to model it. I'm not going to do the whole thing right now. So I want you guys to do that. Notice how the nose sort of goes up. We might kind of push in a little bit of a jawline and develop that nose in here. And I think the eyes are going to be somewhere around here. And the nose is going to come up a little bit. So you just sort of have to start pushing the clay around and planning where you're going to be doing things. It's not going to be perfect. We have to kind of, this is a molding, a sculpting project. So we have to kind of keep working on it. I think the nose is going to come right in here. And if you notice, it almost looks like a little bit of an upside down heart. And sometimes the Day of the Dead skulls will actually put a heart right there. You can have openings. In fact, we need at least the eyes and the nose to be cut. You could open this whole thing. On this one, they have a cutting here and in here. If you wanted to, I have a sample right here of a student's from before, and cut open the whole area on the mouth. Another thing that's really cool is if you put in and form each little tooth, it looks really cool, as opposed to this one, you know, it looks nice. Hard to see. But you can see they just drew the teeth. It's not as much fun. They could have cut this open right here. But now it's about forming time. I'm gonna show you how I normally, once I get the eyes done, I usually take my finger and just kind of press in there. Now it's gonna want to collapse, so you might have to hold it. And again, I'm just holding from the inside. And I wiggle my finger so now it's nice and rounded. And then you just have to start pushing and shoving and maybe cut out the nose here. And it's about kind of cleaning up now. This doesn't want to come out very well. Maybe if I push it. So I'm pushing, and then I'm going to fix this nose. So there's a little bit of a bridge to the nose, and the jaw needs to go in some, and there's a lot of forming that goes into this. The things that you can add on this, you can add sombreros, top hats, roses. I have a nifty little video for making quick roses. Anything that you can think of Day of the Dead but is school appropriate. So cigars are out. Sorry guys and ladies and gentlemen. But it's now a matter of just kind of spending a good hour and a half and getting this to be what I want. So remember that Day of the Dead is, if you're making it after a person, that it should represent things about them. So remembering how they were in life. And that is the Day of the Dead. So to not be forgotten by your family, and your family remembers you. All right, so go make something cool. It's a fun project. So I did some more. I noticed that on the cheekbones on this one, they really kind of dig in a little bit underneath and poke out beside the eyes. So I tried to do that on mine. So I made it stick out here, kind of under the eyes, and then poke in underneath that cheekbone. I'm working on the nose, and it is going to take a while. It takes a while to develop these. You can't just poke the holes and be done. So keep working on the smoothing and the forming and the pushing. Do it while it is nice and soft, and we'll take the pushing. I'm just sort of forming under the mouth with my fingernail. It's so soft, I'm just pushing it. I'm not sure my mouth is exactly equal, so I'm probably going to work on that. But I think I want to cut this out and put some teeth in here. And that's going to take me a little bit. I decided to cut the mouth. Some people have even cut the whole jaw and made it separate. You can do that if you want. Might want to look up jaw bones to be able to know exactly how to do that. Now I'm just sort of smoothing. I'm going to take away these sharp edges. The other thing I wanted to show you is, if you want to, you could put a candle in here. And I could open this up right now, so I can be able to, one, put a candle in there eventually, and two, I want to be able to reach in. So I can come in here, I can open this up more, but I think I'm going to have to be careful, as my guy is quite soft and I don't want him to collapse. So maybe I need to wait till he's leather hard. But what I'm gonna start doing right now is the teeth, so it kind of keeps his mouth open. Let me show you how to make a tooth. Take some of that extra clay that you cut out and just form it into a tooth. Depends on which tooth you're looking at. But when you really form the teeth, it looks so much cooler than just drawing them. So I'm gonna make a bunch of teeth. Remember about slipping and scoring and getting it inside that mouth of my guy. Here's some of the teeth I form. I'm gonna keep going, and then I'm gonna place this part up here. I'm gonna smash into the inside. Hopefully I don't have to slip and score because everything's so soft I'll be able to smash this. But it's either smash the part you're not looking or slip and score it so it gets in and doesn't fall out. Here he is with 4 teeth. I'm gonna keep working on it. I don't know if I'm gonna fill it all. I still have the bottom to do, but I like it so much better when you do the actual teeth instead of draw them on. It looks so cool. I'm trying something else. I took part of the piece I used for cutting out for the hole on the bottom, and I just made a little one, and I'm trying to make all the teeth without cutting them off. So I kind of sliced it, and now I'm forming those teeth from one piece. Then I'll only have to do a little bit of work on the inside, and this will be the bottom teeth. I'm gonna try and fit these in. Looks pretty decent. I don't know if I need all of that, but I'm gonna try from the inside and put them around. I'm hoping you can see. I think that looks pretty good. And now it's time to secure them in place by smashing the inside. So I'm smoothing that part into the jawbone right now. And then I'm gonna push these teeth up. Can't see them very well. I'm gonna bring them up a little bit. And there we go. We're just kind of gonna make sure that they're secure. If you don't make sure that they're secure, they will fall out. He needs a little bit of smoothing. I want to kind of get these crumbs and these little dents and stuff to go away more. But overall, I'm pretty happy with his teeth. I like his overall look, and it's just cleanup time for me. Then it will be decoration time, and I will get to that in a little bit. Now it's time to decorate. So I'm not super great at all the decorations by heart, and I'm looking them up on my computer to get ideas of what sort of drawings I'm going to make. I'm going to use my pencil so the lines are a little bit wider and not just a needle tool, but time to put that Day of the Dead style onto the skull over here. Right now, it's just a skull. So it's time to get it Day of the Dead looking. I wanted to show you what I did. I started making around the eyes first. I actually used this for texture instead of drawing it. I like the size of it, and I just pressed it and made that beginning of the flower look around it. And then I took my barbecue stick here, and I'm going through and I'm making a hole in the middle of it, as I see in a lot of the designs that I'm looking at online. Oh, I made a 2D flower. I drew it. But I'm also making a 3D flower. I made little balls and I pressed them with my thumb. I smashed them together. So now they should stay together. But I sort of want this piece to stick out. And I made it, so I don't want to smash it. And that means I have to slip and score. So here's a little slip and score, a slipping and scoring at the same time. do that to the back of this piece, little slipping, scoring, and then wiggle them together so until they sort of stop moving. They want to stop moving after a little bit, and then I'm going to take away the scoring lines here. And now I have a nice little 3D piece that I could put somewhere off to the side. And I'm thinking of making a top hat, so I'm not going to secure this on yet, but there's the 3D idea. I have cut out the bits for the top hat, and it basically is like a cylinder. So you make a rectangle, you make a circle, and then we're going to bend the rectangle into a cylinder and make sure that it sort of fits the size that we want of the circle. I might want it just a little bit skinnier, and that is actually probably the size that I want. That's going to leave me some extra. So what I'm going to do right here is I'm going to cut this at a bit of an angle through both pieces. Just a little trick. And I have that extra here and extra on the inside, and now I sort of have an angle so I can slip and score these two areas together. If you don't like how tall the top hat is, you could take it a little bit lower if you wanted. I'm not positive yet on it, but I do need something to cover the top hat, and I may be able to use this piece for that. I need to look up some top hats and kind of base it off of one of them, not just go by memory, because I don't think it looks quite right yet. So, gotta work on it. I made my little top hat, got the top, used the extra for the circle. Now the only problem is that inside here it's hollow, and I am going to have a problem with it blowing apart. Maybe if I cut it here, when I put it on, it doesn't even have to be that big of a hole, okay? But is that hole gonna stay open when I put it on? I might have to come in and create a hole maybe in the back, right under here. And that can be as small as a needle tool, as long as it doesn't get too covered in glazing. It's more in the bisquing that we have to worry about it. But that is gonna stop it from blowing up. And I'm liking the look here of the 3D. I'm not sure I'm gonna use this flower, but it was just an example for you guys. I think I'm gonna continue, but it is somewhat easier to work with your pencil, or my barbecue stick is how I've been drawing things. When it's a little bit more leather hard, things will come off more cleanly. Right now my piece is a little wet, so I may leave it out for a few hours or overnight. It really depends on the weather, where you're at, on how quickly things are drying. So, all right, I'm coming at this later. Finished up. I have this guy I did some more around the eyes, put some more flowers here on both sides, got his top hat on. Last but not least, I put my name here. So please make sure you put your name on the bottom. You guys also have to put your period on, so please do that. I made the hole a little bit bigger because if I want to put a candle inside, I have to make sure by the time it shrinks, it'll still fit. So go big. After it gets leather hard, you can go bigger. It's strong enough at this point. All right, your turn to go be creative. Woohoo! Day of the Dead! All wrapped up and looking a little spooky. Wrap it up so it stays leather hard. Now it's your turn. Go be creative. This was pretty fun. I had fun. And now it's your turn to go have some fun. Go Day of the Dead.